Hey guys, we're going to do something a little bit different this week. I got something up my sleeve for you. Normally, I kick back and I interview my guests and we really put the limelight on them. And I peel back, the layers of their story. We're learning from the guest. Well, you know what? This week, we're going to learn a little bit about my story and a little bit about Social Chameleon, my podcast production, distribution, and content agency. And so this is a really cool opportunity. A couple of months ago, I was interviewed on Daily Ad Brief. Their show's called Digital Champions, and Charlene Shirk and Jonathan Silva interviewed me, and they did a great job. I'm really proud of the interview. And I thought, you know what? Let's do a replay on Mic'd Up so you guys can check it out as well. Wanted to share this information with my audience. Before I kick it over, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this episode.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And joining me today, of course, is my co-host, Jonathan Silva from Lubbock, Texas. Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
Charlene, how's it going? Mike, thanks for joining us, man.
How you doing, guys? Thank you so much for having me.
And our guest is Mike DiCioccio from West Seneca, New York with Social Chameleon. Mike, tell us what you do over there at Social Chameleon and the services you offer.
Yeah, so we're a podcast production agency. So we produce your podcast for you. We handle all the distribution, so you don't have to worry about getting it out on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube as well. And we also create the social media content. So once your beautiful podcast is out to the world, we create the micro content. So your now followers and future followers and people that can tune into your show, your audience can get that micro content. So then they can choose to tune into the whole episode. The click through is beautiful. And that's what we do in a nutshell. You press record, we handle the rest.
Mike, what a cool service. And I don't think that people know enough or are familiar enough with the ins and outs of podcasting, and I'm sure you can speak into what they do or don't know, but I think people are like, I want to start a podcast. And then they just kind of record. Maybe the audio quality is not great. They don't understand what all it takes post recording. So can you dive into that a little bit? What are you solving for your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, there's the main concern we see with podcasters just kind of jumping in is they don't typically realize, many times they don't realize how much time goes into it. It ends up becoming a little bit like a part-time job. And that's why you see there's a cliff around like 8 to 15 episodes is where a lot of first-time podcasters kind of fall off the cliff. And the reason for it, and I've done studies and literally interviewed people asking them what's going on, pick their brain, is that it becomes this part-time job. Editing is tedious. We love doing it. We're a little crazy at Social Chameleon. We enjoy that, editing out the ums and the ahs and adding in intro music, outro music, cleaning everything up on video. So we do our full podcast on video as well. We add professional overlays similar to how you have this displayed today. But we also do that in post-production. We'll add different items on the screen like social media handles, websites, information that is supporting to the conversation. And then we also have a professional show notes writer.
So I know that you cut up content, you obviously take advantage of everything that you record to go out onto different platforms. What's your biggest pain point when it comes to digital advertising, whether that's your brand or for your clients?
Yeah, I think what ends up happening is we provide the content, right? So that is the full length audio, video, and also that social media content I was talking about. And a lot of times people don't know what to do with it. Where we've seen the most success has been with advertising on channels like Instagram, even YouTube ads to help expand the brand through Google ads,
Right.
and just get the content in front of the right people. What's really beautiful about digital advertising, as you know, is you can specifically choose who you want to show that to. So if you know your audience that's tuning in is 25 to 45 years old and it's more female based and they have these 3 identifiers as who typically tunes into your show, then you can advertise to those people. So you don't have a lot of like ad leak as far as spending money in places that it's just not it's going to go on deaf ears, if you will. So that's the beautiful thing about digital marketing is that you can, as you guys know, get that messaging to exactly who you want it to go to.
And Mike, I love your website. I went on there and you really do a great job of breaking down the packages, breaking down what people need. I think if you're looking to do a podcast, like you mentioned, you don't even know what you don't know in some cases. But I do want to ask you about the
Mhm.
influencer package. So, how does that differ then? And why does it have those different offerings than, say, your pro package or your elite package?
Yeah, influencers, it's becoming the most popular right now. The reason for the term is that it really helps indicate that an influencer is someone right now, obviously in social media or in the media in any realm, who's really like they have that media package together. Like typically they already are known or they're becoming known. So the reason I use that term, the first version or the first plan is audio, right? So it's audio. We do your cover art, your show notes, we do all distribution. When you get into that influencer plan, now we're talking about audio and video and that micro content for social media. So it's really, you get this media kit. Every time we release an episode, you get it for yourself. And then we also send it to your guest. Not every podcast has a guest, but in most cases, we're working with somebody who is communicating back and forth with their guests. So we make sure we have like a nice bio for them. We write intricate show notes that has the details of everything talked about on the show. And so the influencer plan really is that next level. And then just to quickly talk about Elite, that goes one step further, and that's actually helping with guest sourcing and getting guests for you. And also like uploading the content to your website, managing your social media accounts. It's that next level white glove service.
And Mike, as we wrap up, I want to ask you kind of a tip, but really at the end of the day, there's a cost involved in this, right? So I'm assuming that the end game for the podcaster is to generate revenue out of these podcasts, whether it's through advertisements, whether it's they're promoting their own products or their own services. What's the best tip you can give them that they have to have? They can have all the great graphics and get it all promoted. Well, what do you have to be able to make some money out of doing a podcast?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is consistency. Where I see a lot of times people fall off is they have this great idea and they start, and like we talked about, like that cliff around 8 to 15, they just run out of the either the time space to do it or they run out of resources to do it. They don't have the know-how. Really consistency is key. And also obviously having a great message. So just talk on a podcast and just talk. That's not really going to go anywhere. It's to have purpose behind your messaging. And many of the people we work with, I mean, I really am only working with people who are extremely driven right now, entrepreneurial typically, and are doing positive things in the world. That's what ignites me. That's what gets me excited. That's why I started Social Chameleon to do that. And yeah, it's purpose driven content is really what's most important. And then as far as monetizing it, really, I would say it's that long-term play. Like if you're starting a podcast and the only thing you want to do is monetize it, typically you're starting it from the wrong place. If you're serving an audience, bringing so much value and doing so much good in the world, and your show becomes popular, now you have great opportunities for sponsorships. You have great opportunities for putting affiliate links in your on your social media content, and people will, your personal brand begins to grow at a rapid rate. And then guess what comes along with people knowing who you are? You have attention, and now you can either sell your product, service. People can come back to you later on and say, "Hey, man, I saw you on that episode. I want to know more about Social Chameleon, daily ad brief, whatever it may be." I would say most of our clients now have come to me because of my podcast, which is separate from Social Chameleon, and it has become a funnel
Well, like,
unintentionally. But that to answer your question, that's a big way where we're getting ROI.
this is an official invite to come back and share with us more about your podcast.
I would love to do that.
Oh, it'd be our honor. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on Digital Champions.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much to everybody tuning in. Appreciate you.
Oh, and Jonathan, thank you so much. I always appreciate you taking the time as well to join us for these interviews.
Yeah, of course, Shirley. Thanks for having me. And Mike, seriously, thanks for your time, man. It's really cool to learn more about your business.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And if you'd like to learn more about what Mike's doing over there at Social Chameleon, and check out his website too. It's awesome. But first, start by going to dailyadbrief.com. Well, I'm Charlene Shirk. That's going to do it for this episode of Digital Champions, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone for tuning in, especially those who listen all the way to the end to hear this message. Seriously, I appreciate you, and my guests do as well. Giving a quick reminder to subscribe to this show. It's completely free and will allow you to receive notifications when new episodes are released. If you'd like to provide a tip as a gift, you can do so via patreon.com/micedup. It's spelled MIKED up. Patreon.com/micedup. You can give as little as $1 per month or as much as you'd like. Every dollar is greatly appreciated and completely unexpected. Appreciate your reviews and your messages coming in on social as well. Keep them coming. Your feedback is valuable and absolutely means the world to me. You can check out more episodes and content at mikeduppodcast.com. We're powered by Social Chameleon. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, and it's at Mike DiCioccio, MIKEDICIOCCIO. Thank you so much for your continued support. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.